Hey everyone, happy Friday, TGIF. Give everybody a chance to get in here while I get myself together. I try to get myself together before I get on here, but it seems like as soon as I come on live, I've forgotten something, or I've left something in the other room, or whatever. What's going on, Terry? Hey, how are you? Happy Friday. TGIF, everyone. Yeah. It's the weekend. Woohoo. I'm so excited for the weekend. I don't know about anybody else. This was a long week. Very long week. I know it's the same number of hours, but I think I just got so much more done. Like productivity. So happy Friday. Thanks for joining me. We're going to talk about outing your inner man junkie tonight. So if you're on here live, make sure that y'all share this out or invite some people to join us. That would be great. I would totally appreciate that. If you're catching it on a replay, either on Facebook or of course you're on Facebook, or YouTube or LinkedIn, I appreciate you guys making that investment as well. For those of you who don't already know who I am, Marcy Batiste here. And I'm just committed to helping women shine. Like, seriously, I want every woman to be able to discover and fully embrace her star power. That is so important to me. It's everything to me, actually. And I also have a company called Bankable Success Advisors, and we're a leading recovery solutions provider. So what I do through my company is I work with individuals and businesses, either public speaking, writing books, whatever, and I help them optimize their personal, emotional, financial, time investments so they can optimize, get the most out of your investment, whether you're investing time and energy, emotion, whatever the case may be. I want you to optimize that investment so you get the greatest return, and therefore we can meet your goals in the shortest amount of time possible. So I'm excited. I'm totally excited that you guys are here with me, that you're joining me on this mission to lead these 1,000 women, 1,000 rising stars, you guys, as they begin to transform their lives, transform their businesses. And it's going to be exciting to watch this community of women come together and begin to support one another and truly refuse to not only dim someone else's light, but to be able to be the spark for someone else to shine. I feel very strongly that to whom much is given, much is required. But I also think that to whom much is required, much is rewarded. And, so for me, this is, it's more than, I can't even, I've decided I'm going to try and stop using the word passion. I'm really going to try and stop that. Thank you, Terry. I know you did. Hey, Philip. I'm going to try and stop using the word passion, because I was, in one of our messages this week, I was talking about passion equating to struggle. And I just don't think that I want to claim that anymore. So I'm going to try and eradicate. I'm going to try and eradicate the word passion from my life, because I don't want to invite struggle into my universe. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So we're talking about, as you know, 60 or 30 books in 30 weeks, and we're on week 2, day number 5 of week 2. So we got 2 more days to land this plane. The book for this week is called Women Who Love Too Much, and every single night I have made sure I said, don't let the title fool you. This is not just for the ladies. And so even outing your inner man junkie, don't let that fool you. We can out some inner woman junkies too, because addiction is addiction, right? And I've said all week long, men love too much too. This is a human condition. This is not a women only condition. And I don't want anyone to walk away from anything I do and think that, oh gosh, she's against men, or she's a feminist, or she's, some extremist. No, I'm a realist. That's what I am. And you can have any conversation with me, and I will tell you whether it's about domestic violence, whether it's about obesity, whether it's about my specialty, curing emotional bankruptcy. And I will tell you that these are human conditions, and that both men and both women suffer from things like obesity, low self-esteem, abuse, molestation. These are human conditions that affect human hearts and human lives. And my audience is women because that's what I'm an expert at being. I've never been a man, but I know some amazing men, and I can refer you to some amazing men. If you feel more comfortable coaching with a man, I have male clients, and we work great together because I'm able to give them a woman's honest perspective. And then as a woman, I've been through so much with men that there's probably very little that most women cannot talk to me about that I haven't already been through myself. And so I'm always gonna, hey James, how are you, honey? I'm always gonna come at you guys from a place of truth and transparency. If I don't know, I'm not gonna say I do. If I've never been through it, I'm not gonna pretend I have. But I have been through a lot. 386 pounds, abortion, divorce, biracial, self-esteem issues, domestic violence. What else? Yeah, a lot of stuff. Being in a relationship where I was cheated on, being in a relationship with a married man who was cheating on his wife, you name it. So I don't pretend for 1 second to be an angel. Well, I am an angel now, but you know what I mean. I don't claim that I'm perfect. I don't pretend that I've never made mistakes. I don't pretend that I've never made bad choices. I never pretend that I've not mistakenly engaged in bad behaviors. Let me say that. And that's the piece that once you get to a place where you can own your choices and own your behaviors and realize that no matter how bad it gets, no matter how bad it's been, first of all, when you woke up today, you've already survived the worst day of your life, whatever that looked like. That's the first and foremost. Hey, Ernest, Terry, I can't see. Yeah, I have Terry said, well, I've definitely overcome that self-esteem thing. And here's the thing about self-esteem. It's not just about overcoming it. You have to cure what caused it. So a lot of people think that it's just a matter of, oh, you lose some weight. And I was talking about this to a lady earlier today. It's not about you just lose some weight and you gain some confidence and then that's okay. And you're suddenly over your self-esteem issues. If it was that simple, don't you think a lot of people would be like, Ace is okay right now? It's not that simple. You don't just get over it. You have to cure what caused it. And so for me, the things that caused my emotional bankruptcy, and that is why I have the passion that I have for my sisters that are experiencing emotional bankruptcy that are held hostage by it, is because I've walked in those shoes. And so I know that if we can cure your emotional bankruptcy, your self-esteem automatically will increase. If we can get you to be successful in one area of your life, that success will spread into other areas of your life. And I always tell all my clients that, especially the ones that are working on building businesses, don't try to build your business out without building your personal relationship with yourself up. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you are your only cheerleader. So let me get off. Let me get off my soapbox about that today, because I have a message to talk about, which is man junkies. Let's outing your inner man junkie. And what does that mean exactly? So, like I said, I'm sharing from Women Who Love Too Much. It's one of my books for the 30 books in 30 weeks personal development journey that I'm sharing with you guys here on Facebook, because I believe if I can learn it and teach it, then I retain it better. And so I'm going through my personal development library, and I'm robbing books also from some of my mentors, and I'm sharing out the major takeaways. And so tonight's message is really about the man junkie. And man junkie is just a term for addiction. We get addicted to a lot of stuff. And women who love too much are particularly prone to this. And we're prone to it because, for one thing, being addicted to men, or being addicted to relationships, should I say, you typically that's not your only addiction. So like for me, that wasn't my only addiction. Terry, I I had a lot of addictions. I was addicted to food. That's how I got to be 386 pounds. I was addicted to drama. I was addicted to chaos. I was one of those chicks that was like, if the relationship's going good and everything is smooth and he seems really nice, then I was bored type of thing. And I realized like that is so unhealthy, but that's so common. How many of you know, like I've heard guys say this a lot. I have a lot of male friends and they'll have, sometimes I think they forget that I'm a woman because they have these conversations in my presence where I'm just like, I'm sure that's a violation of man code. Y'all not supposed to say that in front of me, but I just listen and try and be quiet because then they just keep talking. But I'll hear them say things like, "Ah, dog, you know, she's crazy, but you know, that's my girl. That's my girl. She, you know, she went through my phone and you know, she followed me up to my job." Those behaviors are not normal. That's stalking. That's obsession. That's addiction. That's not healthy. But to them, and women do the same thing. Oh, girl, he don't want me to talk to nobody. He don't want me to go nowhere. He want me to come straight home from work. I was guilty of that. I thought that stuff was cute, you guys. I thought it meant love. No, it doesn't mean love. It's obsession. It's compulsion. It's possession. It's a lot of things, but it's not love. It's addiction. It's being a junkie. That's what it looks like. And you get addicted to a lot of different things. And the thing about the addiction is it's a vicious cycle. Not healthy, right, Terry? It's not, or yeah, it's not healthy or safe. It's very, very toxic, and it's a vicious cycle. That's the thing about it. It's such a vicious cycle because you go through these behaviors, and let's take to take a food addiction for instance. People who binge and purge, people who are anorexic, or people who are just super obese. I don't know if you guys have seen that show, 600 Pound Life. I love that show because it really talks and shows in depth the level of addiction that people develop with food. And at the core cause of all of it is emotional bankruptcy. It's an emotional deficiency. It's issues that you've stuffed away and you've tried to cover up and you've tried to mask with all these other things. And so being a man junkie, a love addict, is no different than being a food addict, a substance abuser. You know, you're, like I said, I was addicted to chaos. Like if relationships was going smooth, I didn't have time for good relationships. I only had time for crazy stuff. James, I was addicted to sex. Sex is a huge addiction. I mean, everybody loves sex. Like we talked about the other day, like bomb sex can hold you in a crappy relationship because sex is amazing. It will make you feel really, really good temporarily. It's a temporary fix for a long-term problem. And so is pursuing unhealthy relationships. Terry, you love hamburger helper. I don't think and I used to mess with that. The one that tastes like macaroni or whatever. But anyway, that's neither here nor cheeseburger macaroni, I think is what it was called. Yeah, man, I used to tear that stuff up. That's how, stuff like that. Those carbs, man, it ain't a game in them streets with them carbs. But you know, you look for that stuff to become, that becomes your comfort. That becomes, you know, and so with man junkies, woman junkies, love junkies, relationship junkies, you look for the relationship to fill you up. So where a food addict is going to want the food to fill them up and replace that feeling of emptiness and vacancy, then we look for relationships to do that too when you are someone, a man or a woman who loves too much. And so, you know, that's one of the things, like we want that, we want it to be, it's almost like a numbing thing, right? You eat the food and it makes you forget the pain. You have sex and it makes you forget the pain just for that few minutes. And the problem is, as soon as the emotions settle and the endorphins return back to a normal level and the blood sugar levels change, whatever the case may be, you still feel empty inside. You still feel empty. And, you know, we want these relationships to fill some emotional voids that they can't. And so when I talk to you guys, when I started my company and made Curing Emotional Bankruptcy my number one focus, you know, because I know at the core of all of these human conditions, it's emotion. It's mismanaged emotions. It's unpacked emotions. It's toxic emotions. And so we have to deal with all that emotional crap, and nobody wants to unpack that stuff. It sucks major, but the rewards are tremendous, you guys. They're tremendous. And I think I was thinking about, so, how do these things all fit together? Like we talked about good sex, bad sex. We are in bad relationships. We talked about, this whole concept of loving too much, and can you really love too much? And we talked yesterday about the kind of men that pick the women, and the men that we pick as a woman who loves too much. I'm a reformed woman who loves too much. I don't anymore. But they choose, people pray. We did the whole predator versus partner yesterday, and they choose relationships. If you're an individual who loves too much, you choose relationships with people who need to be, you have a need to be needed, and so then you tend to choose relationships with people who want to be catered to, and who want to be spoiled, because you get to feel better, because now you can focus your energy over there instead of focusing your energy on your emotions. So between the relationship and their chaos, your partner's chaos, then I no longer have to deal with what's going on over here. I was watching 600 Pound Life earlier this week, and it was a couple on there, and they started their weight loss journey together. And they had been in a relationship for 10 or 11 years, totally in love with one another. And then as they both began to lose weight, they began having relationship problems. He had gotten, if I remember right, he had gotten weight loss surgery. She had not, but she had lost about 75 pounds on her own, through the doctor's diet recommendations or whatever. And he had lost maybe 75 or 100 pounds after his surgery. And he just became really mean. He became physically abusive. And it was interesting, and this is why I love this show, because it shows the connection and the power of emotion and what happens when you don't manage those emotions. So what his therapist told him was, you are now forced, because you've always sought out food to comfort you. You always sought out food to drown out all the emotion and all the pain. And so that was the thing that they had bonded over. They have bonded over food. And so now when you take that away and you have to manage, so you're not eating the way you were eating before, and now you've got to suddenly deal with why you ate the way you ate, and the why is behind everything. And so they had to go to counseling to really get to the bottom of some really painful issues before they could then move on and be successful. And that's, carrying emotional bankruptcy, you guys. That's what it is. It's digging way down deep. It's talking about the ugly stuff. It's talking about all the things we don't want to think about anymore, all the things that we say we've put behind us, but we really have not. So, if you're a man junkie, I would challenge you to look around. If you're a woman junkie, challenge you to look around your life. Do you have other addictions? Are there other things that you're obsessive about? I know some guys, it's like got to have your car clean. For some guys, it's sports. For some guys, it's just being in the streets. Some it's substance abuses, drugs and alcohol. Some people, like I said, is food. I know for me, it was food. And I was 386 pounds, and luckily I didn't have to, I didn't go the surgery route or the bypass route or whatever. I did it through exercise and nutrition, and manage my weight that way. But because that's so deeply ingrained in you, it's an everyday, and you condition your body to be receiving these things. And so when all of a sudden you take that stuff away, it's hard. And that's why losing weight is so hard, because you've conditioned your body for the sugar cravings and the carb cravings and all that kind of stuff. And you have to completely start changing everything. And it's not easy. And that's why it's not easy for women who love too much to stop being a man junkie. It's not easy to leave all that stuff behind you. And there's nothing, hey Donovan, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Like, like I said, addictions come in all forms, you guys. And being a man junkie, being a woman who loves too much, being a man who loves too much, there's nothing wrong with it. But you got to start working on the emotional bankruptcy. And, you know, I'm totally excited about Man Junkie. I know, Donovan, you think I'm playing. You just jumped on here, but you need to go back and listen to that. You'll understand what I'm talking about, being a man junkie. You might be a woman junkie. I don't know. But, you know, I encourage you guys, all of you, if you haven't watched the whole video, go back and listen to what I'm talking about here, because you know, we're talking about it in the space of relationships, but it's also applicable in other areas of your life and other areas of addiction. And like I said, for the most part, most people, if you have one addiction, you have multiple addictions. They're just, people just don't put labels on them. But I'm a big one for calling a spade. Like, it is what it is. Don't fight reality. It is what it is. And so that's what this is all about. That's what it means to out your inner man junkie, is to just really face up to the fact that you're obsessed with being in a relationship. I was guilty of that. You know, at one point I was in love with the idea of being in love and give a damn who it was with. And I had to cure that about myself and realize that if I'm ever going to engage in a relationship again, it's going to be something that is beneficial to me from a healthy, happy, whole standpoint. And when I say benefiting to me, I'm not meaning that in a take way. It's reciprocal. Like, there's an equal amount of respect. There's an equal amount of give and take, and love and support and kindness and grace and transparency and vulnerability. Like, all those things have to be leveled out. And not to say that one can't have more than the other, but with everything said, you have to find a balance between you. And that's what a healthy relationship is. It's finding that balance so that no one is exhibiting signs of addiction to the relationship. Big difference. Mello, what's going on? I love you. Birthday girl, birthday weekend. That's it, you guys. If you're going to out your inner man junkie, out your inner woman junkie, you have to just really be honest about the level of addiction that you have. And if you have questions about it, you want more information about it, hit me up. If you want to go back and look at the rest of the videos, make sure they're all listed on my YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for joining me, you guys. Happy Friday. I'm gonna get off of here and enjoy the rest of my Friday night and start off my weekend as well. Busy weekend with coaching clients, because Raising the Bar 60 Days Laser Coaching starts on Monday, so it's back-to-back one-on-ones all weekend with the ladies in the program. And I love this because that's what refills my cup. Hell, watching somebody else begin their journey for transformation and change and growth, and watching their light start to come on, and hearing them say things like, I'm excited, and you know, I feel energized, and I feel for the first time like I'm really going to be able to get something accomplished. Like, to be able to lead that community is freaking amazing. So I hope you guys have just as an amazing weekend. I will be back tomorrow with another takeaway from women who love too much. But in the meantime and in between time, guys, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for living life on Mars. We'll talk soon.